Why is it that some people, without wealth, without influence, without the approval of man, suddenly rise and shift destinies? Why do the ones overlooked, the broken, the rejected, suddenly become the very ones God uses to shake nations? What if God's selection criteria has nothing to do with who you were and everything to do with what's hidden inside you? Don't scroll. You were meant to hear this. Before we go deeper, I need you to subscribe to this channel right now. This message isn't for everyone, but if you're still watching, then something divine is pulling at you. Hit the subscribe button. Don't delay. Join the ones God is awakening. Let's get into it. In 1 Samuel 16 verse 7, God told Samuel, "Do not look at his appearance or at the height of his stature, because I have rejected him. For the Lord sees not as man sees, for man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks on the heart." God's eyes search for a heart that beats for him, not for perfection, not for performance, but for posture. You see, God doesn't choose the popular. He chooses the available. He chooses the broken vessel that says, "Lord, if you can use anything, use me." That's why David, the forgotten shepherd boy, was called. While his brothers looked the part, it was David, hidden in the fields, worshipping in secret, writing psalms no one read, that heaven had already approved. God doesn't need the world to confirm you before he calls you. In fact, if the world has already crowned you, you may be too full for him to use. Let me ask you something. How do you respond when no one sees you? When doors close, when friends leave, when they mock your faith, do you curse the season? Or do you press in and say, "Lord, what are you showing me?" Because listen, the choosing doesn't begin in the palace. It begins in the wilderness. Exodus 3 verse 4 says, "When the Lord saw that Moses turned aside to look, God called to him from the bush." Did you catch that? God didn't speak until Moses turned. Your attention, your hunger, your willingness to pause, may be the very signal heaven is waiting for. You're not forgotten. You're not rejected. You're being prepared. God hides those he wants to use. He covers them until the time is right. He prunes, he tests, he refines, and then he reveals. So if you've been asking, "God, why me?" maybe the better question is, "God, what are you building in me that the world hasn't seen yet?" You are chosen, not because you're perfect, but because you're surrendered. And the world is about to see why. Now comment below one word that resonated with you most from this chapter. Just one word. Let's see what heaven's building in all of us. There comes a moment where God separates the called from the chosen. You see, many are invited. Many feel the stir, the dream, the vision, but few respond to the fire it takes to carry it through. Matthew 22 verse 14 says it clearly. Many are called, but few are chosen. Why? Because the calling is a whisper, but the choosing is a test. God tests those he trusts with glory. Let me explain. When Joseph received his dream, he saw himself elevated, celebrated, honored. But before the throne came the pit, the prison, the false accusation, the betrayal. Not because God hated him, but because God was proving him. The chosen aren't just the favored. They are the forged. Can you be lied on and still not curse God? Can you be overlooked and still stay faithful? Can you be anointed and still wait your turn? That's the heart of the chosen. Isaiah 48 verse 10 says, "I have refined you not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction." God doesn't select at random. He watches. He weighs. He waits. He watches how you handle silence. He weighs your response to rejection. He waits to see if your worship is still real when the spotlight's off. And when you pass the test, quietly, consistently, humbly, heaven stamps you, chosen. God never looks at credentials. He looks at surrender. Let that settle in. He doesn't scan through resumes. He scans hearts. Not for perfection, but for permission. Will you let him in? Will you let him shape the broken parts, rewrite your story, and use even your failures for his glory? That's the true mark of the chosen. Luke 1 verse 28 tells us about Mary, a teenage girl, unknown, poor, no formal education. But when the angel greeted her, he said, "Rejoice, highly favored one. The Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women." Why? Because she said yes. That's it. She didn't perform a miracle. She didn't preach a sermon. She didn't come from nobility. She just said, "Be it unto me, according to your word." And that one yes birthed the Savior. Your yes carries more power than you think. We're waiting for platforms, for validation, for some perfect moment. But God is just waiting for your yes. Are you willing to carry something bigger than you? Are you willing to face gossip, shame, and misunderstanding to be obedient? Are you willing to say yes even when you don't fully understand what you're carrying? That's what makes the chosen different. They obey in the dark. They walk when others mock. They believe when logic breaks down. Let's look at Esther. In Esther 4 verse 14, Mordecai tells her, "Who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" She was afraid. She was hidden. She could have stayed silent. But the chosen don't hide forever. They rise. Esther chose courage over comfort. What will you choose? Some of you have been hiding your gift, your voice, your calling, because you're waiting to feel ready. But listen, God qualifies whom he calls. If he chose you, he'll back you. If he called you, he'll equip you. If he anointed you, no man can stop you. Romans 8 verse 30 says, "Those he predestined, he also called. Those he called, he also justified. And those he justified, he also glorified." It's a done deal. Your past is not a disqualifier. Your weakness is not a liability. Your history is the proof of his grace. God chooses the foolish things to confound the wise. So stop trying to explain your call to people who were never part of your confirmation. You don't need their approval when heaven already stamped your assignment. Your yes is dangerous because once you say it, the gates of hell tremble. So today, say yes again. Say yes to the wait. Yes to the calling. Yes to the crushing. Yes to the mission. Because what you're carrying might just change history. Now, if this chapter stirred something in your spirit, subscribe to this channel right now. Then comment below one word, just one, that captured your heart. Let's move together as the chosen. So if you're in the fire, rejoice. If you're being crushed, lean in. The oil only flows from pressed olives. This is not punishment. This is process. God is separating you, not to harm you, but to mark you. Because when the platform comes, when the doors open, when the mantle falls, you'll know it wasn't you. It was him. You'll carry the weight without breaking. You'll speak the word without pride. You'll walk the path without compromise. Because now you've been proven. And when God proves you, no man can disqualify you. So, before you complain about the pain, ask yourself, could this be the stage where heaven is announcing me? Could this trial be the sound of chains breaking off my destiny? You are chosen because you didn't quit. You are chosen because you endured. And now, the oil will flow. Don't delay what God is doing in you. Yield. Trust. Walk. Subscribe right now if you know you're in that choosing season. And comment below one word, just one, that hit you the hardest. Your time has come.